Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. Hey, Neil Murray, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Tonight, we are continuing our Descent into Avernus campaign. I promise. Even if you're watching and it doesn't seem like that's the game that they're playing. Um, and we got Pruno right on time with a award inspiration for Aplos, which is good. Uh, Gonna need some because we have to resolve a wandering monster which was redeemed last week. So we're gonna jump into tonight's session probably with some action right at the front. Um, we also have the excitement of bringing back a character from OG original 20 sides, but I've got that character invisible right now, so hold off on that introduction just to build the suspense for the one or two people that remember any of the characters from the old campaign. I just chatted something in Discord. Just a fun fact: we turned 3 years old last week. And I think it was July 8th, I think, was the day that we first created the channel. So um, thanks everyone that's been supporting us all this time. It's flown by. So, like I said, we are 20 sides to every story. Lots of cool things you can do. You can get yourself a woo
It's like that one.
like that. 8 months. So you can subscribe and we will woo for you. We will woo you um, into our community. So if you subscribe, a couple of cool things happen for you. You get to earn your EXP a little bit faster. You get Ric Flair to woo just like that. And then you can cause all sorts of shenanigans as you're earning your EXP, like Winston enjoys doing. So you can do things like redeem those wandering monsters, or you can be a fan, pro the players and give them good stuff like healing potions and award death saving throws. Not that this crew is going to need it; they'll be fine. So yeah, you can support us with the subscription. You could just follow the channel. That way you get notifications every time we go live. And the other thing that I would ask you to do is if you like what you're seeing on the stream and you want to come hang out with us in between streams, we're always very active community on the Discord. The link is there in the chat if you'd like to come and hang out with us when we're offline. We'd love to have you. So yeah, that's just a couple of things. Um, we've got actually no community campaign game this week. We do try to play some games with our folks that support the Patreon each nearly every week, but I don't know if I had like plans originally, like before COVID or something, that I blocked this weekend off that I wasn't going to schedule a game because for some reason I didn't schedule any community campaign games this weekend. But typically we've got a couple of games that we are running currently, building up to playing through Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in joining us in, just check out our Patreon page. It's one of our thank yous that we do for the people that support the channel in that way. Casey, you've got something going on for us tomorrow night. Want to tell us a little bit about
Sure.
what that might be?
Coming up in the not quite near future, but when Avernus retires, I'll be picking up Tyranny of Dragons. So we're building up some lore there. A week or 2.5 ago, we did a session where some players were awarded some land and won some contests. And some of those players are going to be carrying forward, and then we'll have some new characters that'll be tackling Forge of Fury over the next 4-ish weeks as part of the lore for the town of Greenest, which will be rolling into the Tyranny of Dragon campaign some month and a half, 2 months from now when Avernus wraps. Ish?
Ish. Yeah.
Ish. There's an ish.
Everything has an ish attached to the end of it.
It does. And I'm hoping that there will actually be a Sword Coast left by the time this campaign is done, because we're still down in El Terrell, and Baldur's Gate is kind of sliding off the coast right now. If we take care of just a few more cities, it's going to be a very short Tyranny campaign.
Well, tonight I think you might have an opportunity to to help prevent world-changing events. I hope. I'm rooting for you guys, although we'll see. Anything could happen. So maybe that is a good lead-in to let's get right started here with the action tonight for Descent into Avernus. Our heroes here have spent some time in Avernus, but they have made their way back to Baldur's Gate. Um, and they have entered into a deal with Tiamat, the Queen of Dragons, to recover her uh, lost, stolen treasure hoard that was taken for her and was once in the possession of the Van Thamper family, now deposed. Now that treasure is in the hands of Gargoth the Pit Fiend. Um, where we are picking up our story. The heroes have made their way into Baldur's Gate's counting house and into a private vault belonging to a dwarf named Raketh Glitterbeard, where the shield of the Hidden Lord that once contained that pit fiend was being kept. And the heroes have successfully recovered it. The retrieval of the shield very vital to their mission, a task given to them by an ally, a wizard named Wrath Modar, who is going to be able to help them to use that shield to hopefully rebind the pit fiend back to the shield in order to eliminate him as an obstacle to recovering the treasure. Um, the heroes have successfully recovered the shield, but at the end of our last session, we had the Wandering Monster Redemption, which is translating into our world as a very loud alarm that is blaring through the counting house. Our heroes here are very weary and very tired after a very grueling battle with a stone golem that was the guardian of the shield. Um, Before we go any further, I always like to give our players a chance to introduce their characters, so this is probably the good time to do that before things go down. So, players, why don't, as we go through the roster here, give us your character name, class, race, and just tell us where your head is at as you are hearing the shuffling of boots and this annoying blaring alarm ringing out through the counting house. So let us start with Evangeline.
All right. Hi, I'm Lauren, and I am playing Evangeline. I am a changeling rogue, and I'm hearing this blaring alarm, and I'm thinking, oh, I might need to have to change into something real quick. So that's kind of my thoughts on hearing it.
Sounds good. Next up, we have Laurel.
Hi, my name is Kit. I play Lorem, a dwarven glamour bard, and I think Lorem's thought right now, singular thought, is, well, it was a good run while it lasted.
All right. See, ready to turn himself in, maybe. Next up, we have Aplos.
Hi, I'm Casey. I'm playing Aplos. He is an elven noble lad and a paladin. And right now he's a little punch drunk. And he's just sort of like dragging his shield behind him and heading over towards the grate and being like, well, if I had a crowbar, I could use mechanical advantage, but I was told that doesn't work that way on portcullises. And that's where he basically is, let's get it open. And I think he might be saying something like, I didn't think a parrot could make a ring like that. Stupid parrot.
Garrett.
Should have roasted it.
Yeah, they only gave him one cookie or whatever it was.
Oh.
Next up, we have Bryn.
Hi, I'm Ethan. I play Bryn Herthley. She is a halfling warlock of the Fiend. And right now, what's going through her head is, I guess, after battling their previous monster, she thinks, finally, that wasn't so bad. And then the alarms start going off.
Awesome. And we'll hold off on introducing our special fifth character for just a moment. But big thanks to the chat. We had a gifted sub, and thanks Captain Reboot for the cheer. Appreciate that. So as we begin, you're all down in the vault. Just a reminder for the players, but maybe more so for the audience, that they found the vault was basically a secret entrance in the office of the proprietor of the counting house. And so they're kind of trapped. There's no outlet other than that way. And you all are hearing kind of the shuffling of footsteps up there and voices kind of in discussion, trying to figure out what is going on. So we'll just leave it at that for just a moment, as you are maybe looking at one another, trying to figure out what do you do.
Oh, well, I think step one is get the door open and.
Greet it quietly, because maybe they don't know about this place. So we
Oh
can...
yes.
Just to be clear, it was a portcullis, I think, that was drawn closed. I think you're all inside at this point. Based on what you're hearing from up top, it doesn't sound like the secret door ever closed behind you.
Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm casting Healing Word on myself.
Some healing happens, and then you hear a kind of deep voice from up top call down, "Hey, we know you're down there, and we know what you have. Drop your weapons, and nobody has to be hurt."
Just one moment, please. They would like us to surrender, I think.
Yes. But I would prefer to discuss that on the other side of the bars.
Oh yes.
Get...
That seems wise. Just one moment, please.
I can attempt to talk our way out of here, but I only have one shot.
And Apples will kind of like get
Hey.
himself and then the shield kind of wedged so everybody can kind of come over. Yes. We would like to discuss your offer, if you would. Just a moment. While the appropriate person prepares themselves.
All right.
May I introduce Mr. Gold Shoulder. Gold Shoulder.
Whoa! Thanks for the jams,
So
man.
as you were looking up, Applos, you could see there is a dwarf there. The dwarf is a male dwarf wearing kind of like an official, almost like a uniform or such. It almost seems to indicate that they are an employee of the bank or the counting house. And he is with two heavily armed guards that you can see visible from your vantage point as you're holding up the portcullis. And he seems to be kind of looking down at who you are introducing, as Lorem is making his way out.
So I'll go ahead and step, kind of swoop underneath the portcullis and go, terribly sorry for the intrusion here. You see, this is all just a great misunderstanding, and I will attempt to cast a Charm Person on him.
Okay. Go ahead. He makes the saving throw, and with that, we will enter initiative as you cast a spell.
Oh,
Uh, uh,
but he doesn't know that you tried to be charmed, right? Isn't
With
that
charm person,
thing?
it does.
It's
You
casting
do?
a spell.
Okay.
They were asking for a surrender. As soon
Yeah.
as that spell goes off, now it's you're coming to blows.
Gotcha.
So-
I thought there was one that was like they didn't know if they were being charmed. Or...
A wandering monster can't get us if we're all dead.
This is the wandering monster.
He is the wandering monster.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, Bryn, you are up first.
Okay, I guess we tried it your way. Come out. Can I shoot my Eldritch Blasts through my companions? Or not through them, but in between them?
I'm gonna say while you're in that room, it's just a little too difficult to see up, like through the hallway, up the staircase, and into that adjoining room. You'd have to be, if you were in the hallway, you would be able to see them at the top of the stairs.
Okay. So if I was over here and goes going through my allies count as difficult terrain, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to go. All right. Okay, then I will just. They don't know I'm here yet, so I'll just ready my action if they come down the stairs. Will that be enough of an angle for me to fire anything off?
So if you're in that hallway where the stairway is, you'd be able to see them.
Yeah, I just don't want to be, the first person.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Understandably. But that would probably be like the minimum out that you'd need to be able to see them at the top of that staircase.
All right, understood. Okay, then I'll just come behind Laurel and then just ready in action for my Eldritch Blast if I see anyone coming down the stairs. And leave it at that.
Sounds good. So we're ready to action.
Mm-hmm.
Now we will reveal our mystery player here, who has just entered the counting house. Reggie, do you want to give us a little intro before shit goes down on what Reggie is up to and who he is?
Yes. So hi, I'm Reggie. I am so excited to be here. I can't even explain it. I am a disciple of Sir Iwatamoto, and Iwatamoto has trained me up to be the best paladin I can be. But I, of course, totally acknowledge that I am always trying to get better. To a fault, so I'm always beating myself up. Wish I could be doing better. And ever since this whole Ring of Winter thing, and losing my best friend of Klaus, I am kind of in a bit of a hunger. I need something going on. I'm sitting at the temple. I'm working with these paladins to be, and I'm trying to help them get better. And I'm feeling, maybe this isn't my calling. Maybe I need to find something else. And wouldn't you know it, Duke Porter reaches out and says, hey, there's something going on. So Reggie's doing a little digging. Reggie's doing a little investigation and starting to feel the juices flowing a little bit. Missing Klaus, but ready to see what's out there and just wanting to help.
And you've been pointed, like the characters, to this location to find the Shield of the Hidden Lord. And you probably were struck by the fact that when you walked through the front door just now, there was an alarm going off. There were no guards at the entranceway. And you are now standing in a hallway of the administrative offices of the counting house. And you can hear all sorts of shouting and voices coming from the office. I don't know if you can see that, Reggie, where I placed your token, but
yes,
to that office just to your right.
Excellent.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, Alex, can you share that map again for me? I don't have it. Oh,
Sure.
thanks.
all right. So just to clarify, doors closed, but I'm hearing shouting.
Yes. Yes. The door is currently closed.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kind of weasel my way over here, and I'd like to listen in, see if there's anything I can make out that can help me determine whether or not I go in, shoulder charge, or if I, take my time.
Make a quick perception check.
All right. Perception. Check. Sorry. I apologize to everybody. I'm still getting through the fantasy ground stuff.
It's been a while. So on your character sheet, on your skills tab,
Skills. There
you
we
can
go.
double
Nice.
click on where the modifier is, where that +8 is.
Got it. Unable to open window using wildcard link.
Oh, is it not working?
Here we go.
Oh, there it
we
is.
go. Now it is.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, you nailed it on the perception check, and you can very clearly hear. They're not. They go from shouting to kind of murmuring amongst each other, but you pick up what they're saying, and they're like, well, it looks like they're not going to come quietly. It seems that they've made their choice. Dead or alive, let's take them.
Okay, so I'm gonna open the door and kind of take a half step in and say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, first off, hi, I'm Reggie. Second, it sounds like there's some sort of a scuffle or a kerfuffle or a brouhaha that's happening here right now, and I want to see what I can do to help you guys out. I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Torm, but I'd really, really, really like to introduce you to him and really just talk about what it means to go through a path of love, and maybe we all work together. And all the while I'm saying this, I kind of have my hand on my sword hilt, just in case.
Well, they all have weapons drawn. At least the three, the three that are represented by the V are soldiers. The one represented by the token D is the dwarf, in more of the, not really a military garb, but more of the uniform of the counting house. Their weapons slowly turn from that staircase that you can see behind a desk. Oddly enough, there is like a dwarven man who is like laying out on the floor, snoring very loudly, almost comically so, such that you're not really sure if he's actually snoring or doing like a bad play acting version of his best performance of him sleeping. But nonetheless, that is happening. It's a very confusing scene. And the dwarf just looks at you and says, "Save your religious talk and your preaching for the Sabbath. You have no business here. Be gone."
Well, because it's happening in my community, it totally is my business. And, I got to tell you, no one has to die here today, but if someone's going to, it ain't going to be me. And I pull my sword and I am at the ready. If I can move in, I will. If not, then I'll wait till my next turn.
I'm gonna say that this event, you coming in here and talking with them, kind of represents you've successfully distracted them with Reggie's kind of bizarre, way of presenting himself. So we'll give any attack rolls and potentially other things that the characters down below end up doing on these guys will be at advantage. So it'll be kind of a global kind of help for one round. So next up we have Lorem.
All right. Well, I am completely out of ammo, so I'm just gonna hurl an insult at the mage. Find where it is. Okay. Huh? Hey.
He fails the saving throw. 5 points of damage.
Right. And then I'm immediately going to duck back under the portcullis and hide in the corner.
Sounds good. Veteran 2 here. had a crossbow in hand, drops that, pulls out his longsword, and steps up to Reggie to take a swing. First swing misses. Second swing also misses. So
Aha.
you manage to, I don't know, parry. You're wielding Reggie's classic weapon, the great sword. You manage
The
to parry
Holy
those two
Avenger
attacks.
greatsword.
Yes.
Come on.
Which I think you recovered in Chult. And so he's no match for you. Evangeline, you're up next. Um, can-
Lauren, you there? Mute.
You're muted via. Yeah.
Yeah. Now.
There we go.
Now. Sorry, my headphones died, and then the new ones just didn't want to Took them a second to get going. All right. So, what did I miss?
Basically, you just hear you were about, these guys were talking real gruff and aggressive with you all, and now you hear there's somebody else having a strange conversation with them up top. Seems like they're slightly distracted.
All right. So if they're slightly distracted, I'm going to try to come out of here and under the gate if I can. And I'm not sure. I probably can't get in range to actually shoot them.
From there, you can see the back of the dwarf.
I can see the back of the dwarf. Okay, so I have a shot on him if I want.
Yep, and his back is turned to you. He's talking to Reggie. You can have advantage on this attack.
Okay, I'm going to take a shot then. So, advantage.
All right, a 26 is a hit. You have sneak attack.
Yay. Okay, let me put sneak attack on myself real quick. Rosie, get out of the way. It's okay. All right. And then I think that should have put sneak attack on. Oop.
I'm not sure if I see the effect.
Did it not? All right, let
I
me
don't
just
see it on you.
There
it is.
go. Yes. Okay.
28 points of damage. He's still up.
We'll tell Aplos to just hit whoever comes down those stairs as hard as he can. And that's my help for him.
Sounds good. Other veteran that is up in the room quickly moves on over to where you are, Reggie. Takes a couple of swings with his longsword. First one is a miss. Second one, also a miss. Aplos, it is your turn.
So Aplos has his two shields, his shield and then the shield of the hidden lord propped up on either side, holding the portcullis up. So he turns around and is like, this is entirely ridiculous. And he starts moving forward. 1, 2, where am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can reach. And he walks up there, and as he's walking up, he draws his longsword, and he's got a short sword in his hand, and he just starts drubbing the dwarven mage like, I am a patriarch of the house Althea. You will not disrespect me in this way. We are recovering stolen goods. And he's just going off and off. I am a deputized member of the city watch. I am an and then we'll start swinging. Because that's just rude. And a 16?
Let me just see. A 16, he's going to cast shield.
Then I will have to try again. And harder.
And you have help.
I have help.
Oh yeah, take throw another attack there just to see if that will break through.
Wait,
Well, that'll hit. That'll hit.
Okay,
We'll use it on this attack.
got it. So then that's that. And then he'll short sword offhand. Wait, why do I have 3 d20s?
I think you dealt with the first attack, or you did the damage that would have dropped the mage.
Okay, and it is non-lethal. He's just drubbing the guy. Like, we tolerate so much letting you come in and have your little guilds and do your little things, and that's fine. But when serious matters come to hand, this is the way it is. Oh, good day. And he just sort of like does a little salute over to Reggie across the way. Yes.
Well, that is good that you dropped the mage. That was probably the threat, the big threat that could have done some harm. We're back to the top with the veteran. This veteran here is going to make its way over to Aplos and take a couple of swings with his longsword. 21.
21 will do.
Dealing 9 points of damage.
Not quite unconscious yet.
Second attack is a 16, which misses.
That will miss.
Bryn, it is your turn.
Great. Okay. Coming out. Can I fire my Eldritch Blasts at this veteran?
Yes,
Excellent.
that will hit. And do you want to push him?
Yeah, I'd love to push him over that table.
So he kind of falls and goes kind of blasting back over the table, still on his feet,
Okay.
as he kind of readies himself on the other side. Steadies himself.
And then I'll throw the second one at. Can I see veteran 3 right in front of Reggie?
Yeah, from the stairs, sure.
All right.
He's gonna have a little cover from the desk, but you can see him.
Fair enough. That's a miss, I bet. 14.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my turn.
Next up, Reggie.
All right. Well, the first one that came after me was Veteran 2. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So after receiving the salute from Aplos, I'm gonna go ahead and just sword out of the hilt, right? Like going kind of an upward slash on Veteran 2 for my first attack. Let's see if I do this right.
That will hit.
Cool. And then if I do this,
19 points.
still there.
And yep.
All right. So now I have my extra attack. So I'm just going to come back down, basically across that same wound that I just opened up. Ugh.
Ooh, that one. You see that you have an audience. It's been a while since you've been adventuring. You just try to put a little too much flair on it and end up kind of botching the move. Next up, we have Lorem.
Okay, so I am going to peek around here and get as far as I can up there. Can I see anybody from this vantage point?
I think to see anyone like inside the room, you'll have to be like on a staircase, kind of like Bryn, just a little ways.
So that will be my turn. Then I'll just kind of sit and hunker there.
Sounds good. Veteran 2 is over here by Reggie. Maybe feeling a little emboldened after seeing that flub up. He's going to take a swing. First one is a miss. Second one, also a miss. He's not faring much better. Evangeline, it is your turn.
All right. So I'm going to move up. And you said these little squares are not entirely accurate. They're not 5 feet. So I can go, it's the big squares that are 5 feet. Is that
The
right?
big squares are the 5 feet, so there's 4
All right,
little
yeah.
tiles in each 5-foot section.
Gotcha. So I'm going to get right about to here. And I'm going to take a shot at this veteran 3. Oops. And I'll have sneak attack on that thanks to my good friend, this dude.
Just an awkward angle, maybe. Shot doesn't quite nail your target.
Not quite there. Yeah, I was distracted by this, handsome paladin over there. All right. Well, then I'm going to, again, just tell Aplos, be like, Aplos, that was great. Just do that again. And that's my help for Aplos.
Sounds good. Veteran 3 is over by Reggie. They're both, at this point, feeling kind of frustrated that they haven't been able to land a strike against him. But swinging away, a miss. And then second one is a 19, which will hit for 4 points of damage to Reggie. Aplos, it is your turn.
Oh, yes, of course. Now, you ought to surrender, and we won't hold it against you. You may have been misinformed, but, one must learn. And he'll swing his longsword.
That's a hit.
17. We'll do 3. He swings his longsword again. 19 for that. And then he offhands his short sword. Probably not that. But 16 points of damage. Yes.
All right. Next up, we have that opponent right across from you is going to take a couple of swings with his longsword. First attack is a miss. Follows it up with a second. A 17 will miss. Bryn, it is your turn.
All right, Bryn's gonna run up the rest of the stairs. That's Evangeline, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Fire off some Eldritch Blasts at the one in front of Aplos.
The hit. 10 points of damage.
Okay. And second one.
Another hit. 12 points of damage. He kind of knocks into that that plant in the
Tree.
corner. Yeah. And kind of has to steady himself as he turns back and has to pop himself back onto his feet. Reggie, it is your turn.
All right. So I'm going back after veteran 2. I'm calming down a little bit. Starting to find my rhythm. So I'm just gonna finish off veteran 2 here with my Holy Avenger Greatsword.
21 will do it. 21 points of damage. Still up.
Oh, all right. Well, all right. That's okay. I'm breathing, and
Just first roll me an attack just to see if it hits.
oh, did the 20 not hit?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, that'll hit. 16 points.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool.
He is still up.
Oh, now I'm getting frustrated.
Next up, we have Lorem.
I'm
I'm going to run up next to Evangeline, and I'm going to indiscriminately point. I guess I'll point at Veteran 2, first one my eyes land on. And I'm going to use Mantle of Majesty. And as my bonus action, I'm going to cast Command without using a spell slot. And I'm going to
He
tell him to
fails
dance.
the saving throw. You want him to dance. Okay, he starts
Just dance.
dancing.
And that shall be my turn.
Veteran 2 is up next. He drops his sword. He starts doing a little boogie woogie. And Reggie, you almost like you're like going in for like the kill shot, and then you're like, whoa. Trying to make your judgment whether this is okay or not as he drops his equipment that he's holding. Evangeline, it is your turn.
Okay. So I think this is an odd choice of command, and I'm like, so is dancing now? Okay. Guess we're doing that. I'm still gonna shoot him though. So or try to. So
I'll say you have advantage. He's
yeah. Oh, advantage. Okay.
yeah,
Since
he's not really trying to
dancing.
defend himself right now.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's fair. It's hard to defend when you're doing
That's a hit.
All right.
You got double backstab on though.
Oh yeah, they'll take one of those off. Go for it.
Did y'all see all that? It rolled a ton, but
No.
apparently
Well,
I lost my connection.
It's okay. He's got there. It is 43.
It was 40. Yeah, it's 43.
Oh,
He got real hurt.
So arrow goes flying
oh
towards
that's with the
him.
double.
Was that double?
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
fine.
so-
It's fine.
It's
You
still
do a ton of damage. He's got 2 hit points left. He goes down.
Okay. Please roll it.
Savage.
And yeah, I'll call across to Aplos and say, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Veteran 3 over here is going to see what just happened to his buddy and want no part of this. He's going to try to shove Reggie out into the hallway. Reggie, give me a strength athletics check. Ooh, and he catches you off guard and you stumble backwards into the hall just enough that he is going to try to make a break for it. As he moves away, Reggie, you could use an attack of opportunity on him if you'd like, but you're getting the sense he's hightailing it out of here.
Could I use that opportunity to try and grapple him and restrain him?
Yeah, you could attempt to grapple him as he's moving away.
I'm gonna do that.
Let's just do another strength athletics check.
Okay.
And you get him. Like you manage to
Oh.
catch like the back end of his armor and pull him close to you, and like your sword arm, you've got one of your arms like half Nelson behind the back of his neck as you wrap him up in the grapple.
Cool.
Aplos, it is your turn.
Oh, he has a rather large arrow in him. We ought to bandage him. But first, and then he'll take another swing with his longsword at this veteran. He'll hit with that one. Then he'll remember to use his advantage on his second attack.
You manage to bring him down.
Excellent. And non-lethal damage. And then Aplos will rush over. He can't do anything about the unconscious guy right now, so he will use his attacks with his longsword and his short sword to try and knock unconscious the fellow that Reggie is holding.
Okay. At this point, just give me um,
Or
like a
tie him up
strength.
or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just hand wave that and say you're going to be able to do that because you all are going to be able to overpower this one last remaining guy. So you conk him over the head. He goes unconscious, blacks out, and you are out of initiative.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you very much for your assistance. Just a moment. Mr. Lorem will be happy to explain what's going on, but we are in a bit of a hurry. And as he walks by, he'll do a 1-point lay on hand and then hit the guy on the ground who had the arrow on him. So he's unconscious instead of bleeding. And then he'll go get the 2 shields. And he walks back up a few seconds later carrying like one huge shiny shield and one huge demon face shield.
And that demon faced shield, Reggie, looks like the thing that you were led to believe was here. Thing that you came seeking. Like this.
Okay. So tell me what you know about this shield. Well, first, here I'm jumping the gun a little bit. We just got through some tight stuff. I'm Reggie. Hi. Who are you?
Maybe we should make introductions later. We should get out of here.
Agreed. We're on a time crunch
Uh-huh.
to begin with, so I'd be happy to pencil you in for like in a couple of hours.
Well,
From like
okay.
down the hallway, you hear like the start of a really long name. Like, oh, my name is Lord Aplos de Althea, and like heritage is built into it. It's got the elven length to it. It's all just flowing up, echoing down the hallway.
Oh, I can't wait to hear more about that.
Oh,
okay. Well, tell me about this shield. It's important, right?
Very important. Long story short, we're going to use it to seal a demon back where it belongs. So that's things that your type approve of, right? And I'm just
for
like,
sure.
I'm like just trying to edge past him.
Absolutely, good friend. Now, if I knew your name, I could, of course, acknowledge you in such a way that would be appropriate for your family, your heritage, and honoring the houses that you've grown up in, and of course the learnings and the teachings and the generations that have come before you and that will come after you. Just through a name.
Lord Goldshoulder.
Aplos.
Yeah.
Aplos. That sounds like a fun name.
Lorem Goldshoulder, owner of Goldshoulder Consulting and Concern.
Goldie, awesome. Goldie, it's so nice to meet you. I'm so pleased to be with a group of adventurers. I sure hope you guys are on the good side. From what I'm getting from my Torm Tingle, I do feel like you are. So I think we're in a good shape here. But what I really want to understand is this shield, right? So I understand that you guys have, and women, of course. I don't want to have a microaggression in here. So you adventurers have been going forward, doing things. You've kind of left your community in the lurch, and from my understanding, you're maybe coming back now, which is great. Awesome. Don't feel guilty about that. You should be really proud about the things you're doing right now. But I've been a place or two, and I feel like something as important and vital of trapping a demon in a shield really shouldn't be just up to some sophomores. So what I want to do is I want to be here with you. I want to train you. I want you to learn about Torm. I want you to learn about love, and most importantly, I want you to learn about yourselves, because I think coming out of this together, you're going to feel so much better. Your friendship, your relationships will be stronger, and I am so excited to be here with you. Let's go.
Has it been a minute since we downed the last person?
Well, you tell me. I'm almost getting the sense that this is all happening as you are fleeing the sea, and you're kind of having a conversation on the run.
If it hasn't been a minute, my Mantle of Majesty is still up, and I'm going to use a bonus action to cast Command on Reggie to tell him to shut up.
You can give it a try, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work at all, but it'll be funny.
It would technically have failed because that's 2 words.
I will just
so
yeah. This is
Reggie,
failed, so I
as
just tell him quiet.
well, hold on. That's what Fantasy Grounds is telling you, but what does he have? What is the bonus that he gets? He gets a plus. Oh, it's only +2. So that would be that'd be a fail.
So like the moment
me to
Reggie
shut
goes
up?
quiet, though, Aplos just starts just takes over and runs with it. Oh well, actually, it's rather interesting. We've been on a bit of a mission, and while yes, we have been away from town, we've actually been working on commission for the Flaming Fist. They actually sent us to fetch one of the Lords of Waterdeep. Excuse me, the Lords of the one of the Dukes, excuse me, wrong city. One of the Dukes, and we went and actually we visited El Terrell in Avernus, and we've returned. And on returning, we found out that this shield, which we recovered from the Van Thampers, has fallen into bad hands. As you might have heard, the Van Thampers were dealing with the Infernals and the Devils and such in association with one of the High Holies of El Terrell. And we had thought we had recovered this shield successfully and given it over to not entirely trustworthy hands, but hands that were trustworthy enough with such an
Oh, look, we're
artifact.
here. This is the
Oh!
place, right?
It was like, Aplos, don't make me use it on you too.
And where were you all headed as you were having this conversation on the go?
I think
Um,
back to the tavern where the spellcaster was.
Okay.
Yes, because we need to meet up with.
With Rath Modar. Rath.
Yes.
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 So, under the cover of the night, it's probably like the analog of 1 in the morning or so. It was about midnight, I think, when you came to the counting house. You would have to traverse through the sewers, as you are apt and know how to do, to get back up to the upper city. And so you do so, and you get yourself, I think it was called the Three Kegs, the tavern where you met with Rathmodar. And as you're having your conversation with each other, Captain Reboot gives inspiration for Aplos.
Woo!
So as you make your way into the tavern, there are a number of off-duty Flaming Fists hanging out. Many of them exorbitantly inebriated. But there is that one figure in the traveling clothes in the back, in a back booth, who is, you just see him. He's sitting and he's scrawling something on a number of pieces of parchment, and he's sitting right by a window. And you observe as he seems to be finishing one of his missives. He folds it up almost like an origami paper crane or something like that, or a bird, and he holds it up to the window, and it almost on its own kind of starts to magically animate and flies away out the window. As soon as he completes that, he goes back to scrawling apparently another such message.
I run up and go, Rathmodar, we've brought something. And I'll just kind of like step aside for Aplos.
Oh, yes.
Have you recovered what you've set to find?
Yes, and he has 2 shields now, so he kind of does a little peek behind the shield covering because he doesn't have his normal shield covering on that one. Yes, there you go.
He takes the shield from you and beholds it, and seems to be running his fingertips over the different grooves and runes along the front facing, and then seems to be inspecting writing that seems to line the shield on the backing of it. He says, "I'm gonna need some time with the shield in order to inspect it, to understand how it works and what its relationship with the Devil Gargoth is. Perhaps now you all look a little rough. Perhaps
Yes.
it'd be a
Yeah,
good
I'm
time
alright.
for you to take a rest, and in a few hours from now I will hopefully have some answers for you."
Mr.
Yes.
Modar, so I don't think we've met before. If we have, I certainly apologize. Hello, I'm Reggie. Pleasure to meet you. Um, I've dealt with devils before. I've dealt with demons before. I'm excited to learn more. I'm feeling pretty refreshed. Would you mind if I stayed with you and just observed?
If you must.
It's not that I must. It's I'm just always trying to get better.
He seems very much annoyed with your optimism and this request, but he's not in a private room himself. He's got kind of no. He's going to allow you to sit with him as he researches the shield.
Hunkers down in a right next to him and just kind of like, go ahead. It's not like I'm. It's like I'm not even here.
And maybe this is a good opportunity. Evangeline, Laurel, Apollos, and Bryn, the four of you could go ahead and start leveling up your characters to level 10, while Reggie sits with Rathmodar, who is inspecting the shield. And he says, some time passes, maybe like 30 minutes in, you're watching him intently as he's going over the shield, and he says, well, one thing is for certain, I can tell that Gargoth is still very much attached to this item, this artifact. He is not completely freed of it. That is good news for us if we are to chain him back to it. Definitely a fine craft. If I'm not mistaken, celestial origin. You seem like paladin. Tell me, do they teach you celestial in the convent where you come from?
They teach us a lot of things. I am certainly not an expert, but I am more road trained than I am book trained as of late. And what we've learned with my friends and my adventurers, we've come across devils, we've come across demons and celestial beings, and yes, absolutely, there's experience there, and I hope to lend my expertise to save these other fine adventurers who brought this shield to you the pain that they may have not experienced yet, uh, to what it means to carry and be burdened by an item such as this with the entity behind it, um, such as Gargoth.
Lauren, I just released Evangeline. I think I saw in your chat there was a issue with that. Let me know if you still can't access the
All
character.
right.
Rathmodar says, well, sounds like you were quite experienced with these such things. And he says, look right here. And he points to where some of the bevels of the pattern of the front of the shield looks just like design work, almost like, I don't know, wavy lines or vines or something like that on the visage of the face. But he points and he says, this right here is a celestial rune. Command word, I think, for the shield. It seemed that whatever celestial entity created this shield, it designed it specifically for Gargoth. It was a prison built and meant for him. This celestial rune right here has the command word for how to activate the shield's properties to bind the devil to it. Celestial word or outcast.
And is it as simple as that? These things never seem to be quite that simple, but the activation word of outcast, or the celestial variant of it, just being in proximity of Gargoth and saying that, is that all that's needed?
The shield would definitely need to be in proximity to him. Now that he is freed, I suspect whatever magics originally bound him to this shield, I am sure it was by the hands of some great warrior, or maybe even an angel or celestial being itself. Certainly Gargoth up walking around as he is now in the material plane has probably grown quite resistant to its magics. The shield will be more potent and more capable of binding him should he be at less than full strength.
That sounds right. Is there anything else you can tell me about Gargoth from the shield? You said that some of his energy is still here, or some of him is still bound to this shield. Is there anything else we can learn in the short amount of time that we have?
Well, I haven't had enough time to do a lot of research on that name, Gargoth, or his history in the plains, but I can give you the general information that I know about devils and how, well, they're very naturally resistant, as I'm sure you know. Dealt with a number of them yourself. Magic is going to be troublesome, even the magic of this shield. I'm sure that he will be very much resistant to its energies. Coming from the Nine Hells, fire magics will be near useless. Based on the type of devil that he is, I am sure that he wields powerful magic himself. Name
Sir.
Gargoth, I did do a cursory look. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems that he is some kind of troublemaker, so much so that well, I found some references that suggest he is not welcome where he comes from.
Hmm.
Designed himself to be here on the material plane.
So there's a potential that the crafter of this shield is from the same place he's from and wanted to get rid of him, exile him, or uh, capture him so that he wouldn't be bothering them anymore.
Maybe not the crafter of the shield, as I
Hmm.
suggest. This seems to be of celestial make, but it could be the one that commissioned the shield. Perhaps
Hmm.
didn't want him mucking about in the Nine Hells any longer.
Fair.
It's a shame, isn't it, that this thing should have to be used on this devil.
It's a fine craftsmanship, that's for sure. But if it means allowing our community and our city to heal and saves the lives of those who care about it so much, it is well worth its role in this story.
And you have this conversation with Rathmodar in the backdrop of all the chaos of, well, not chaos, but just the loud conversations of the off-duty military folk that are here in this bar. The rest of you manage to take a long rest and level up. And after a period of a few hours mending your wounds and getting maybe a little bit of shut-eye, are able to regather with your newfound ally Reggie and Rathmodar back in the tap room. Breakfast laid out for you from one of the brothers that owns the Three Kegs. And just kind of a refresher on the things that are happening. As Bryn knows, his own father was very ecstatic about things that were going to be happening today. It was believed that there was going to be a big demonstration by the protesters of the upper city. That they were going to try to find a way to march on Upper City using some of the tunnels and sewerways that exist underneath the city of Baldur's Gate. So that was kind of the big uproar. And in the morning, as you're coming into the tap room, you can see some of the very hungover Flaming Fists are trying to rouse the still blackout drunk members of their group to head out to duty. The overworked Flaming Fist are just barely able to stumble out the door and get to their posts.
think I want to quickly thank you all for allowing me to help you. I may have come on a little strong yesterday. It was my first day back at some action, as it were, and I was a little excited. So I'm thankful that you're here with me. I've been doing a lot of talking with Rath Modar here, and I'd like to fill you in on what we've learned. And Reggie will give a much more brief summary than his excited brevity or lack of brevity that he had last night.
Oh, I do have just one question. I didn't catch your title. Is it a sir or a lord? And I apologize. I was fighting with a stone golem, and little feud just yesterday. And it's not all quite shaken out yet.
Just call me Reggie. I'm not all about the lord, the sirs. Just call me Reggie.
So common then.
Common would be fine. Yes.
Yes. Not even knighted?
Well, we don't have to get into who's done what or who's been anointed as such, or who has saved the world, or who has wielded the ring of winter. We don't have to get into all of that. I'm Reggie. You're Aplos. Let's let that be enough.
Well, I mean, it's Lord Aplos Althea, but I know. I mean, for short conversations, of course, but in proper conversations, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I ask you. I wouldn't wish to insult.
Well, I won't be insulted, but I certainly want to respect whatever you want to put in front of your name. I'll call you whatever you want.
Oh, yes.
Can you say that one more time, Lord Aplos?
Lord Aplos Althea, but only in like a court setting.
Okay.
Of course, when we're amongst ourselves, that's entirely fine. I wouldn't, make my servants call me that or anything.
Sounds great, Plos. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Mr. Plos. So good to meet you.
It's Aplos. It's one word. It's Elven. It actually means apples. I mean, it sounds like it should.
Mm-hmm.
But Aplos, just like apples, just with a little
perfect
close.
Apple. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I mean, that was actually my childhood name, but that's fine. I mean, you did save our lives, and that certainly allows some indulgences.
It's really cool. You got there's Goldie, there's Apple. I'm really excited to get to know you guys even better. This is so good. Oh, yes. See, like when we have nicknames like this, that means that we're friends.
Yes,
we're friends.
Oh yes, I do. Like
I love friends. Yes.
Very good. Though, with the shield, it does sound like we want to challenge a pit fiend. That felt like the boil down of it. Now, having recently fought with several lesser demons, and they hurt rather badly, a pit fiend, from what I understand, is a much bigger demon, and the ones we're used to are oh, Miss Bryn, what was your patron again? He was a level 4? 3?
3, I believe.
He was just on the cusp. I feel like he was about to upgrade. But I feel like a pit fiend would be like a 70. I haven't quite got the hierarchy down, but it does seem like a big number.
Well, sure, it's going to be hard. Yes. we there's 4 of you. There's 1 of me. We might not all make that out, right? But it's all about the greater good, because that's what we signed up for. And the important thing to note is that we don't have to bring this guy all the way down. Really, what we need to do is we need to get him into this shield and get him locked away again, so we don't have to worry about that. And then from there, we'll deal with that burden as it comes. But it's not like we have to kill this pit fiend. So I think that's a little bit different. I think we can stay optimistic, and let's just stay away from the magic stuff, and then just use our muscles.
Oh yes, I mean that does make a good bit of sense. but I was thinking, um, as you mentioned, it's you and I and he and she and but well, with two of the dukes um away, and one deceased, um, well, the lesser-minded folk of the town have been swayed by the pit fiend. And I understand that it won't be, just you and I and he and she and she. It will be rather a large um, rabble. Uh, and I'm rather fond of the citizens of the city, but they're rather fragile. Do we have any
As
idea as to how we might um, isolate the fiend from the citizens?
Well,
As you're saying that, you see a number of like flaming fists kind of urgently coming into the tap room, and they go over. You could see familiar face, Captain Zaj, face down, eye patch, kind of slightly off kilter, face down on a table, and they run over and they're trying to rouse him. They're like, Zaj, get up! Grand Duke, acting Grand Duke Dillard Portier is about to make a statement to the masses. We need all hands on deck. And he's kind of grousing. He's like, leave me alone. They're like, Zaj, please, for the love, get up. And they are just like basically like hauling him against his will out the door.
this we need to see. And I'm going to run out the door too. I want to hear what this acting Duke has to say.
So Bryn urgently follows close behind.
No, we have to go quickly. She disappears like that. No, I'm not kidding.
And it sounds like, unless I hear any dissent, everyone is kind of
Following.
following.
Yeah, and I'll let him know that
Yeah.
I'm friends with Mr. Portier, and we'll be able to maybe get some help there to figure out how we can isolate this pit demon and take care of your concerns, Mr. Apple.
Excellent. And as he's talking, he's walking out, and then all of a sudden he goes, looks around, turns back around, and he comes back out carrying a mastiff with him.
Sounds good. So as you're all following where the flaming fists are headed, Bryn, they're going right to the original gate that you went to when you first returned back to Baldur's Gate, when you went to check out the flaming fist the first time. So you're following behind. You pass by the wide, and you make your way to the original gate that is named Baldur's Gate, right along the original wall of the city. This wall is a symbol of resentment, and has been tested by popular uprisings in the past. So this is kind of history come full circle, with thousands upon thousands of people that you can hear jeering on the other side in the lower city. Statements in support of Gargoth, more general statements of justice, all sorts of different chants happening. You can see on the wall the foot soldiers of the Flaming Fist kind of at arms. There's a kind of a sense of unease that you can feel amongst them, anxiety. And at some point, you see coming down one of the streets of the upper city an entourage of elite city guard along with Flaming Fist guard. They seem to be the personal security detail for some dignitary that is coming. And you would all recognize the elderly man in the noble finery as Duke Dillard Portier, now acting Grand Duke of the Council of Four. And he makes his way towards the gate and enters one of the towers and approaches makes his appearance on top of the gatehouse. And you just see his backside as he begins to deliver a speech to the numerous denizens of Baldur's Gate below him. There is a trumpet's fanfare that is heard, and one of the Flaming Fists just calls out to the crowd, "Acting Grand Duke Dillard Portier approaches to deliver a message." And the elderly man begins to speak. "Citizens of Baldur's Gate, I come before you today to acknowledge that your cries for justice and a better life has not fallen on deaf ears. The majority of crime and murder in this city has repeatedly left Lower and Outer City bruised and broken. The wealth of the patriarchs fails to trickle down and adequately benefit those who are less privileged. And at times our methods of justice here in the city of Baldur's Gate is wrought with corruption. All of this, the Council of Four acknowledges and recognizes." And as he is speaking of this, you can see a number of glances between Flaming Fist, kind of not expecting to hear this come out of his mouth. And he says, "You, the good people of Baldur's Gate, have rallied under the banner of one that you call an angel of retribution, the one named Gargoth. As he is your champion in light of our failure of leadership, I plan to treat with him this afternoon at the Sea Tower of Baldurin. And I plan to discuss with him your grievances and look for ways that we can take action in hopes that we can create a lasting peace and mend the wounds of our great city." And with the conclusion of his speech, you can see his entourage kind of build up around him again as he leaves the gates to head back to the high hall of government.
Bingo.
Some jeering that you hear from the other side of the wall.
Well, that was rather politic of them.
Well, that's not going to work.
No, it won't.
And then the last thing we need is a dupe striding in and trying to negotiate another deal with the devil.
No,
Yeah.
it's going to be a disaster. But I thought, Bryn, weren't you supposed to be leading them somewhere? Can't you just
Yes,
lead
I
in
think
circles?
that's actually supposed to happen now.
Oh,
The implication that
so
you're
they're just
getting
up there.
is that this announcement perhaps is to block that event, that they have caught wind. This is like a kind of a weird thing for the Duke to come out and make this extend this olive branch to the masses. That perhaps it is his way of trying to pump the brakes on the unrest, that he is making this announcement that he's going to actually meet and recognize Gargoth.
Well, though, if we join that entourage, or precede it, and Gargoth is in an isolated area, that would protect most of the citizenry.
Yes, I suppose Gargoth is at this. What is it? The seat of Baldurin?
Yeah, the Sea Tower of Baldurin, the old...
Sea Tower. He's at the Sea Tower now, and when I met with him, it was mostly just devils there. I don't think that he would have left. We can take... Well, he'll be there. I think he's isolated already, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, well, I mean, the sea tower is a rather defensible position, but if we have a way to at least get a foothold, I suppose it's possible.
I can take one person in the door with me.
We could just walk in through the front door. I mean, I have had audience with Gargoth before. I don't see why he has any reason to not let me and my allies through.
Oh,
And we can always try and talk our way through anything that goes sour.
Well, I don't expect him to willingly go into the shield, but he doesn't know what we're doing until we get inside.
Until we get there.
Yes.
Oh, and it would make sense that you would have to go back to get your new orders, since things appear to have changed.
Yes. And you have reinforcements with us. We're all, yay, the revolution.
Oh, I guess I'll have to dress down then.
Much.
Yes. I think that might be an option.
Worth taking.
So, if I'm understanding, your hope is to go down there and try to preempt this meeting and try to get an audience with Gargoth before this afternoon.
That's Bryn's opinion, at least. I don't think she wants any amount of time between a devil and another head of a city. It's just kind of what she's feeling.
Sounds good. So the meta piece of the shield, just so you understand what you're dealing with in terms of the shield, one of you will have to attune to it in order to be able to activate it. It can be used as a shield. It basically operates as a shield +1. It also gives whoever is wielding it, I think, immunity to fire damage. I have to re-look that up. But the piece to know is that you can use an action. Sorry, resistance to fire damage. But the person that ends up wielding it is the one that can invoke its power to try to rebind Gargoth to it. It's an action to use it. Gargoth would then need to make a charisma saving throw or be bound to it. DC for the saving throw is on a sliding scale depending on how many hit points he has remaining. So using it at the start, it's like the idea of your Pokeball that you throw. Where is he at? What's your probability that it's going to work?
Only we had a divine wizard.
The other yes, if you had
Divination wizard.
Divination wizard would break my entire counter probably. The other piece that you all are aware of are devils are resistant to magic. So for the meta speaking, you know that he will be rolling this at advantage to disrupt that. But essentially you get him bound to the shield. If you're able to maintain concentration on that, it kind of works like I designed it kind of around the banishment spell, sort of. If you can maintain him in the shield uninterrupted for a minute, he will be rebound to it like he originally was.
So not easy at all.
Well, generally I carry a shield. Do you, Reggie, have a weapon? It's a rather fine sword, but it looked to be a two-handed sword. Do you have one that you can wield one-handed?
I certainly do. And I would make that sacrifice because I believe that I want to make sure the four of you understand just what this shield will do once Gargoth is in it, and what it could do to your mind, to your heart, and your soul. And I fear for the one who has to handle that, and I would much rather take that sacrifice on myself for you.
Oh, well, we've seen what this shield does. Who was it? The religious leader down in the sewers? He was absolutely mad with it.
But have you experienced it? Have you wielded it yourself?
Oh,
We've had
just
lots
for a
of
moment as we shoved it in a bag.
We've had lots of things try to talk to us in recent weeks.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm glad that you're having things talk to you. That's a good stepping stone to some of the emotional toil and the despair that you will experience.
Oh, did you miss the part when Aplos gave you the? We just came from Avernus. This is nothing.
Okay.
Yes, it almost put me entirely off cookies.
Entirely?
Almost.
Okay. All right.
Cookies. baked goods in general for a few moments, but cookies specifically, rather dangerous.
Well, then I don't mean to underestimate you. If you feel that one of you four is ready for the challenge, I understand. But just know that I am making my case that you not have to endure that.
Oh, well, if you feel that you're appropriate for it, and you have a weapon that would not disarm you, I have a short sword, and he shows a short sword. This seems to cut demons well enough, and devils.
Rathmodar might add, whoever is wielding this shield will draw the ire, certainly, of the devil. As soon as Gargoth obviously recognizes the instrument of his imprisonment, and so
Yeah, he'll want to keep that hidden for as long as he can.
He's also somewhat still connected to it, so there is a chance that he will be aware of its presence without actually visually seeing it. I'm not certain on that, but there is a chance.
We could always come under a guise of offering it as a means of destruction.
Go on.
We've made similar claims with the mother of all dragons before.
Oh, I think he was already in possession of it since he came from it and then employed the counting house. So I don't know that us appearing with it would be beneficial, because I think it would be stealing from him to give it back to him.
I say, Reggie, by all means, I think you should carry it.
Agreed. If he wants to play hero, let's let him.
I'm no hero. Let's get that straight. I am
you
no
are
hero.
compared to us.
I do have one question though.
Hmm.
I mean, we don't really know Reggie. Hi, I'm Evangeline, by the way.
Hi.
So, is it really the smartest idea to just hand over our one chance of stopping this to, frankly, some random guy who just appeared coincidentally when we needed him? I mean, I'm sure you're a wonderful man, but just raising the possibility that, for all we know, he takes it and he runs off, and
Oh no, he's a servant of Torm.
Are you aware of the Lord Torm, our savior?
Is that the
Yes,
fellow's
but-
helmet that we saved?
yes.
There you go. See, so you are aware of Torm and his teachings, and I am but a student of Torm, and
Well,
I you
the helmet that we got was actually connected to Bahamut.
Baphomet, yeah.
Baphomet.
Oh, but that was an incidental thing.
Yes.
Right.
Accidental.
Yeah,
Sure, Dave.
really no need to mention, but I'm just saying that I'm sorry. Again, no offense meant, but I've met many religious people who nonetheless have fallen, let's say, short of the ideals that they espouse. So just, I just need to know that you're not going to run off and join the revolution.
What
kind
would
of
you
the
need
brain.
what would you need as a means of gaining that trust? I can understand. I might rebuke that. Is it not our role to fail so that we may learn via these religious deities that we seek to emulate? But what would you need to have that trust?
Well, I think as we've learned in our experience as a group here, contracts go a long way.
Contracts. I'm somewhat familiar with signing contracts.
Simple social contract that says
Mhm.
if you do happen to do anything that would be against your religious ideals, that we would be able to seek compensation.
Compensation, monetary.
Likely not.
Perhaps more social. Like I'm
It's
sure
a
that
social contract. It's just think of it as giving us actual legal capability to hold you accountable and responsible for your actions as a servant of Torm.
I will have no problem with that.
Beautiful. I could draft one up in just a few minutes.
Please do.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and write up a contract along the lines of that we are entrusting him to hold the shield on behalf of Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern, and that he is to execute the task of binding Gargoth back to the shield, and upon failure to do this task or deviate from any instructions given by any employee of Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern, see, what should our retribution be? I'll say
His
for
soul.
don't tempt me. Fuck it, yeah, I'll put that in very flowery words.
I don't know if we have the capability to
I don't know if it works, but
Laura might be so disillusioned that maybe he thinks that he can do this.
probably not. No, probably it'll be
boilerplate language in
Been
every
down in
single
Avernus
podcast
long
we've
enough that
been
maybe
It's been too
your
long.
Your brains have been warped
probably
enough.
probably it'd be a forfeiture of his estate, whatever he's got.
Okay.
Reggie, you probably have no problem. You have no
I have
estate,
no
so
possessions, so I will absolutely sign that for sure.
And we tell his dad. No, we tell his religious community.
My dad.
Very-
Yeah,
no, my dad.
they'll contact the Watamoto from beyond the grave. Catalog.
I've done that.
Sure, we
couple
could find
times.
someone who could do that.
I can do that. But yeah, I'll sign your social contract. You know, if y'all were talking about taking my soul out in the open, I probably
No,
wouldn't sign
no.
that.
That was in the group huddle.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I just sit down and real quick draft this up that we will take him for anything he owns if he fails to bind this demon to the
You
shield.
guys just loan sharks? Like what?
I
Yeah.
am.
Awesome. I like
yeah,
it.
we spent a lot of time in Avernus. It changes you a little.
Whoa,
So
thanks for the
I
jams,
learned
man!
a lot about my trade.
a lot of contemporaries are there. So yeah.
All right. Well, what I will take then is the short sword from Lord Aplos, and we'll also hold the shield and do what I can to attune to it.
Sounds good. Are you giving your sword, Reggie, to any of the other party members, knowing
I will.
how potent it would be against this foe?
Who here is your strongest warrior? Who here stands on the front line and desires a Holy Avenger greatsword?
That would be me, actually, Aplos.
Um,
I thought it was worth trying at least.
well, it is a rather nice sword. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind using it.
Do you have a Holy Avenger dagger? Because those two like the daggers.
I do not. We often joke that the daggers are for the children, so do not carry those. So here you go, Lord
How about a
Aplos. You
Holy
are.
Avenger rapier.
Oh, there. Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
So he takes a big two-handed sword in a massive case off his back, puts it down, unclasps it, opens it up, takes his sword out, like a whole bunch of gold coins just spill out the side, and then he takes yours and puts it in and closes it down and makes sure it all fits and adjusts the little things, then puts it back on his back.
So I've added that to your inventory, so you can
Got
equip it and use it. All right.
Build it well.
It clashes with the armor.
Does a bit.
So,
does this Reggie recognize this armor? Which is the armor of Bane?
I mean, all the spikes are worn down, so it's more of a polka dotted armor than anything else.
Yeah, I thought
Very
you had
festive.
worked it down so that it looks almost comical versus.
not intentionally comical, but it was blackened armor, but it had spikes. So spikes are impractical. So he had that ground away. So now they're just little nubs, but it's like blackened armor with little nubs on it. So blackened background, little shiny nubs. So he's got like hobnailed armor.
That's beautiful.
Looks like a Dalmatian.
And it's been pretty beat because he's just
Taking some hits.
Taking a few hits. Specialized in getting hit.
So, equipment has been traded. Non-binding contracts have been drafted. Do you need more time to discuss what happens when you get to the Sea Tower of Baldurin?
Just
So
that,
we're-
like right before action's happening, Aplos will drop he'll early on drop an aid on everyone, and just before action happens, use a 3rd level spell to drop a bless on all 5 of us. So, like just before we're like opening a door, bless for us.
Okay. So,
And also, I'd like to talk to Laurel before we head out.
okay.
A thing. Mr. Lorum, are you still able to do that whole sending magic message thing to people?
Yes, I can. Do you need a message sent?
Yes. I think I'm just kind of as an insurance policy before we leave. I was hoping you could send a message to Nine Fingers Keen.
Why certainly. I have a limited amount of words I can work with. What are we trying to say?
Well, tell her we're off to trap Gargoth. The people will need a champion to speak for them. Will that be you? I think that's enough.
Well, that's certainly a game you're playing at there.
Well,
That's the
I'm just
last
thinking,
thing Nine Fingers
I
wants.
don't want this whole revolution thing to die with Gargoth. I mean, sure, he's twisting this to his own dealings, but there's some momentum here, and I think after we take out Gargoth, it needs to keep going. And hopefully, if I know anything about Keen, it's that she's an opportunist, and hopefully she'll take advantage of this for both hers and I guess the rest of the people's benefit.
All right, well, it's definitely worth a shot. I'll go ahead and.
You did have the acting Grand Duke publicly say that he's willing to entreat any leader of.
I wouldn't
rebellion,
trust
so-
the word of any political figure ever,
Yes,
especially
I know,
in
but
this
he
city.
did say it publicly, so if he's going to renege on that, then trust me, I will be on the front lines for when that happens.
Only if you submit in PTO.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course.
I will go ahead and.
By the way.
I haven't had the chance to sit down and calculate the amount of hours work. You guys earn PTO hours, roughly 1 hour for every full day that we've worked. So I'll have to sit down and do that math, but I'll get back to you.
Okay, great.
And I will cast sending and pass on that message to Nine Fingers Keen.
Okay. You will get a message back. I think it can reply to you, right?
Yeah.
They'll send you a message back and say, the ideals of the revolution are safe with me. I will carry the banner.
She says she's in.
Wow. I
would also not trust a single word that she says.
Can you detect any deception over a reply?
Can I insight
Probably not
check?
so much, but I think actually, Bryn, you are preempting something that a question that was going to be posed maybe at the end of the session if you were successful. Nine Fingers Keen, while an opportunist, while somebody who is deals in the underworld of Baldur's Gate does have a charitable end or arm of the guild, and so while she's probably going to, not maybe extend this revolution to the fullest, you can see why she would be happy to champion the cause, because a lot of the things that she does benefit the people of the outer city and lower city.
All right, sounds good. That's good enough for her. I mean, I don't think she's expecting a full 180 or anything like that. So
Sure. So, point of inspiration to Bryn for answering that question before we even got to it.
I'm gonna need it. All right, that's all I wanted to do.
All right. So it is probably mid-morning at the point when you finally, as a group, feel at least a tentative peace amongst you all that you can go into this next challenge with some degree of solidarity. So you make your way to the lower city, and let me pull up an image here. One of the kind of annoying things about the Fantasy Grounds Descent into Avernus pack is that they don't include any images from the Baldur's Gate Gazetteer that you get from the book. So I had to upload some of these myself, but this time I have it. I didn't have it when me and Bryn did this. So here is kind of an image just to give you a sense of what the Sea Tower of Balduran's layout kind of is like. So you all will be coming to the gatehouse. As you approach, you will see there are these 5 guard towers that have ballistae and things like that mounted on them, all pointed towards the bay of Baldur's Gate. They're not really meant for individuals like you on the bridge. They are more for ships and invaders coming from the sea. The defenses, like Bryn suggested, are very sparse. Although at this point, Bryn, there are a few more people here than what you remember. A couple of individuals that have slapped on themselves some scale mail armor. Each of them seemingly has a medallion around its neck with that emblem identical to the coin that your father accepted when he took that pledge. The portcullis at the gate is down, and as you approach, you can hear one of the sentries on top of one of the towers call down, "Oh, we are not accepting visitors at this time. We are preparing for the visit from the dignitary from the upper city and his meeting with Gargoth."
Yeah, well, it's important. Tell him that Bryn's here, and she brought some friends that can help.
They're all kind of looking at each other, quite confused. Bryn, is it? Well, who is Bryn? Who are you?
Imsum flashes in from dereses from his invisibility and just starts going off on all the titles that he was doing before.
Okay.
Slayer of the Necromancer, Feanor, and all that.
Have Impsum do a performance. It could be either a performance or a deception. I'd be okay with either of those two.
I want to assist in this. I'm going to use prestidigitation to make it look like Imsum has a little wreath of flames around him to kind of increase the not intimidation, but make it look like it's serious.
Sounds good. I'll give it advantage.
All right, advantage, and he has a +4 in deception. So 21.
invoking the fact that you yourself have an infernal companion gives you a little bit more legitimacy in their eyes that you might actually be someone that Gargoth wishes to speak with. And so you see one of them, kind of just like originally when you came here, scurry off and head to this main keep, the main piece of the fortress, and enters through the double doors. You are waiting some time before he returns and says, Gargoth is willing to speak with you, and points to you, Bryn, and you alone.
And she kind of just looks over at the other four people.
I would have to say that as Bryn's legal representative, I do humbly request that I, at the very least, am allowed to accompany her, just so that everything's above board. You know, we wouldn't want Gargoth, not that I would ever assume, but we want to make sure that just as Gargoth speaks for the people's rights, I speak for Bryn's rights.
I think Gargoth was explicit that he was only to see Bryn.
Well, can you at least let them in? I mean, they're all part of the cause here. They're not just going to stand out here looking ridiculous.
Panning over to Aplos for just a second, he looks like what a noble person thinks a revolutionary looks like. So he's dressed up like one of the people on the barricade for Les Mis. Like he's got like a makeshift pole that he's definitely chopped up a little bit to make it look rough, and a banner that he's sort of tattered up. He's got like a headband on top of his armor. Like,
are you Javert at the like you're?
Yes,
like
he looks like Javert at the barricades. So. But like under that, he's got his armor, and then this is just like thrown over it in like the worst possible kind of like. Maybe he looks ratty just because of how bad it is.
Sounds good. So Bryn and Lorem are attempting to get more of you into the gatehouse. Aplos is standing tall, looking good.
I'll try to actually do some persuasion to them, since that's one thing.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all three of you are kind of chatting with the gate guards, and Evangeline, as you go ahead, what would you like to add to the plea?
So I am just gonna try to appeal to the fact that we are with someone who is so important to the cause, and we honestly feel that there could be danger to him around. That's why we have these two burly bodyguards here, and we just are wanting to protect him from any danger. And if we could just at least come in, we would help to defend from anyone who might want to attack, and going on that thing that we're here to help the cause. And
so you're talking with the human guard at the top of the tower, and then suddenly on the different towers you can see barbed devils, bearded devils appear, coming up from lower in the tower, and one of them looks at the one guard on the right hand tower and says, "Is there a problem here?" as he leers down at you lot on the bridge.
Oh yes, there is a problem. Sad to say, we are merely trying to accompany as Bryn's entourage to make sure that Bryn is safe. Because while there may be an audience, there's also a diplomat of the other side of the cause who very well may be using this as an opportunity to hurt those who would want to further the fight for freedom and liberation for the people here.
And the bearded devil looks at the guard and says, You talk to Gargoth? Gargoth says, what? Bryn is allowed, huh? They're having a conversation, and so the bearded devil just looks down at you all and says, it sounds like one of you is allowed admittance to the keep. And the rest of you will just have to wait. Or you're all going to be waiting.
I'm just telling you that we could do much more inside the keep than outside. Out here, what are we going to do? We can't even, defend ourselves if they start rushing in. But,
Well, I don't believe you have an invitation. We're busy trying to get ready for our audience with the acting Grand Duke.
and I know the acting Grand Duke, and I'm telling you that he has a plan that you're not going to like, and you will need all the help you can get. I have much experience with Grand Dukes, and they're all assholes.
And you will have seen that all your talking, you've hit a wall. You're nothing compared to Gargoth, and Gargoth has made his decree that he will allow one.
Is there an
Fine.
opportunity for me to talk to the group without it either being heard or observed by the guards?
You probably have to withdraw from the gatehouse, but you're under no threat that they would attack you or anything if you left. They're more or less annoyed. You're kind of an inconvenience to them right now.
Got it. Well, maybe now's not the time for us to all chat with Gargoth if he wants to meet with this Duke. I think we allow it to happen, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if Bryn wants to go up and just be there as representative, maybe she could do that, and maybe Mr. Goldshoulder could help one other of us get up there. And then there's at least three.
I feel like now is not the best time.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I am going in then. And then the four of you will stay out here.
Perhaps we can get in with the entourage of the Grand Duke if we talk to them the right way. So I guess wait for us up there. Try to stall as long as you can.
Okay.
Or just let Mr. Gargoth know what we wish to speak to him about, and perhaps he'll invite us up. I mean, we did gather a number of angry brethren to rise up against the firm but reasonable demands of the patriarch.
Yes.
Might I pose another potential option? If we'll all just step outside the gatehouse real quick, let's get a game plan here for what we're gonna do while you're in there talking to him. Maybe we'll get some cheeseburgers or something.
Sounds like a fine idea, and I'll just kind of like start sidling away.
Yep.
So, Bryn, you're signaling to them that you would like to meet with Gargoth?
Yeah, I think she's struggling real hard to try to pick up these signals right now. And
Okay.
she's okay. And she's gonna like start inching towards like into the gate, through the gate now.
Okay. They crank open the portcullis, just kind of as a message of how unwanted the rest of the group is. They only raise it like enough that you would be able to, with your stature, be able to walk underneath. And as soon as you pass through the gatehouse, it starts cranking down, and a couple of the bearded devils come down. Two of them make their way down to begin escorting you towards the gatehouse, and both of them are kind of giving you a vile grin as you make your approach to the gatehouse. let's push pause on you heading that way as the group has their sidebar away from the moat.
Okay, so the Grand Duke was the person who put me in I guess in the position for this adventure and to help you all and to find the shield, so I can talk with him. What I'm thinking is, since we're all having this posturing of being a part of this revolution, for him to walk into this negotiation with his guards is going to look bad. So if we can convince him to walk in with us posing as these revolutionaries, that he's starting to make headway with the people and wants Gargoth to have some of this power. He's tired of doing all of this and just wants to hand it over to him. And we would be that entourage. We now no longer have to deal with soldiers, and we've got Gargoth isolated with Bryn already in there, for us to be able to get him back into the shield once we're all together.
I like this plan. This is a good plan.
Oh, yes.
I don't think anyone's ever said that Reggie's plan was good, so I am ecstatic.
That's disconcerting.
Wait, what? No, yeah, my plans are always great. Always great.
Alternate plan, although I do like yours. I could rain chaos down on this fort.
Define rain chaos.
I spent enough time in hell that I picked up a few tricks. We are very familiar about how devils don't get along with demons, and I could drop a greater demon right in the courtyard if I wanted.
Yes,
it's a new trick.
That would be rather distracting, but if you happen to recall how heavy the portcullis was that was on that little doorway, this is a much bigger portcullis.
I think I think the friend or acquaintance I might convince to pop in for a visit could smash the portcullis into tiny pieces.
I feel. You see, in my nightly handbook, it actually described portcullises, and they take a lot of hurt before they break. Like this is designed for good for up to 3 dragons. And I mean, demons and such are rather large, but still.
Well, it's an option that we could do if things start to go wrong. Should I pull that trigger?
Oh, yes, I think.
How long does it take you to pull that trigger?
About 6 seconds.
Okay. Well, maybe we pull that trigger when we get in there. If we need to pull that trigger when we get in there.
That's good.
If this works out when we get in there, I'm gonna keep saying get in there.
I
can always take one person with me directly inside. Because
Miss Evangeline.
Yes.
When you do your ablutions in the morning and put your face on, would you be able to put on the Duke's face?
Yes.
Maybe we don't need to wait.
Oh yes, I could become the Duke.
I like that.
I hope these guards are stupid.
Well, they don't have to be terribly stupid. I'll sound like him. I'll look like him.
I mean, if they remember him walking through the gates 30 minutes earlier, they might.
Oh no, we beat them. I think we go now. Like we go.
Yeah, you guys are
around the corner
quite a bit earlier than he was
he hasn't
going
arrived.
to come.
I thought he was already here.
No,
he announced
Oh.
he announced to the crowd that he was going to arrive in the afternoon. You are
Yeah, so
this is morning right now.
Beat him to the punch. You guys can spiff up a bit.
Then we can punch him.
We could punch him. It's very satisfying punching a Grand Duke, I have to say. But mean, we would need to be a bit grander than we are right now, I think.
Unless we
The rest of
follow
you.
Reggie's plan to show as a sign of goodwill towards the people and just show up as we are, as revolutionaries. That was the idea originally.
Right, and I think that holds the story true from what we've told the guards already. If they see us, unless you can put different faces on us.
No, I mean, I think I might have a disguise kit, but nothing like nothing like I can do.
Sure.
But that would be quite some talent, though, wouldn't it? No,
You could always turn one of us into a fly.
Oh.
Can you turn us back?
Yes.
Well, I think Aplos was quite disguised, so they might not recognize him.
He has a very good disguise.
Oh yes, very convincing. The flag was a good touch. So Aplos, I think he could easily fit into whichever route we need to do. You two, though, might, well, I guess, pick a side or the other, be more revolutionary or more guardsy.
Just look down at myself and my clothes that I haven't really paid attention to since I've traveled through hell. So I think I'll be a revolutionary.
Same.
Well, I just had a new set made yesterday.
Ooh.
It sounds like you've got some pieces there. So you're all kind of formulating some sort of a plan of maybe disguise. So feel free to continue to use your chat, maybe to refine that plan as we flip over to Bryn, who's maybe taking a big gulp. As you enter, I believe I described it as a mess hall that Gargoth had converted into his kind of receiving room. And so you're entering this darkened hall. There's some dim light that is coming from some sconces on the wall. There's maybe all of the furniture, all the tables that once filled the hall and served as the place where the Flaming Fist gathered for their meals has all been kind of shoved aside except for one table that stands at the far end of this receiving chamber, upon which there is a stone dais where Gargoth sits upon his mound of gold. The gold that you have come back to Baldur's Gate to recover or secure for Tiamat, to accomplish everything that you need to accomplish with El Terrell back in Avernus. But he is sitting up top all this heaping gold, right before a table upon which you can see a piece of parchment, inkwell, and a quill. Okay. And Gargoth, as you are approaching, says, Bryn, I'm sorry that I couldn't get the message out to you that our demonstration in Upper City was to be put on hold. I'm shocked as everyone else to hear the acting Grand Duke make his proclamation in support of our ideals and our cause. I am waiting in anticipation of his arrival. But my guards, my sentries tell me that you have some news for me.
Yes. Well, I brought some allies, those who have helped defeat numerous warlords in Avernus as well, to our side, and I wanted to introduce you to them, but your guards outside would not let them through. I think it would be a benefit for you to at least meet them face to face so you can see for yourself their power.
I think that is a fine idea, Bryn, but now is not the time. We are about to make any gestures for the parchment on the table. I am about to cement a major accord with the Patriarchs, with the Council of Four. Perhaps
you're
this
here
matter
now.
of meeting your friends, it could wait till later, till my business is concluded.
Okay. Uh, Bryn's gonna step up to the table. Can she read the parchment?
And Gargoth welcomes this as you are approaching, says, "Yes, it is all there. Look, read upon it." And as you start to look, it reads kind of almost like a constitutional document of amendments to legal documents that form the foundation of Baldur's Gate's government. And there's a number of clauses there that, you know, uh, obviously you're the judge of what Bryn thinks of them, but a couple of them I suspect maybe Bryn would sort of agree with. One being the outlawing of the Flaming Fist and all private military operating within Baldur's Gate, and the appointment of each neighborhood to create its own forms of law enforcement, like the Upper City has with their city guard. There are some other things about taxation and the sharing of wealth. But going through this document, the final bullet point that you see that of course maybe raises your eyebrow is the naming of a representative voted on by the citizens of Outer City and Lower City for their own member of the Council of Four.
Okay. This looks all good and proper, but and she just like puts her hand on the declaration and looks at Gargoth. Well, what's the catch?
Well, there is no catch. These are our demands. This is what our revolution is fighting for. If they don't acquiesce, then the protests will continue. Violence in the streets will continue unhindered.
Come now, Gargoth, I may not be intelligent, but I'm certainly not naive. I've grown up my entire life in Baldur's Gate, and I've just spent the last few weeks in Avernus. If I know anything, any dealings with devils uh, always turn out in the devil's favor.
And he smiles. He's like, "You're right. It does benefit me quite a bit. I will be named the Grand Duke when all is said and done. And I will have full authority over Baldur's Gate. I will deliver this contract, which says such, to Zariel, and win my way back into the Nine Hells where I belong. All the souls that have already pledged themselves to me, and with this authority to deliver to her Baldur's Gate, the thing that Duke Van Thamper was unable to deliver to her. I will win my way back home." And with that, he says something in Infernal. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, wonderful. All right, here we go. Wisdom saving throw.
Britain doesn't know the code word.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to use my feet. What is it? Dark One's own luck. So I get to add a D10 to the roll.
Okay.
Okay.
You feel as he tries to take possession of your consciousness and your mind, you shake it off and resist the effects.
What are you trying to do here, Gargoth? You think you can pull a fast one on me? Did you not hear my servant? And I snap, and Imsum shows up again, detailing all of my my grand deeds. I would hope that you would at least treat me, if not equals, as at least a considerable advisor. At least, what are you trying to do here?
He attempts it again.
All right.
And a 17 would fail. And so the scene will
Does he have
fade
the
to.
aid from Aplos?
I'm too far.
Too far.
Hold on. I have inspiration, right? Can I burn that? Or is it
Yes,
too late?
yes, you could. I'll let you do it.
All right.
Come on, Bryn.
Woo!
Yeah.
You succeed again.
Okay.
What would you like
she's
to do?
gonna run for it. So she's gonna cast oh, I don't think she knows whether or not this person has true sight or not. So she's gonna let's see here.
Just throw a dagger.
Yes, throw the dagger
Stab
at.
him.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I guess she's gonna cast invisibility and make a run for it, I guess.
All right, you cast invisibility. You make a run for it. You won't have enough speed to get out of the hall. He's got one last chance with his spell. He's gonna cast it again.
Fair enough.
Oof.
Womp womp. I'm
Well,
out.
you burned 3 uses of this spell for the day, so
I considered it a win.
yeah. So fade to black there. Back out nearby the gatehouse. Actually, I need to take like a 5-minute bio break if we can do that. I'm going to pull us off for just a moment. Folks, thanks everyone who is watching. We will be right back to see the fallout of all of this. So, see you in a moment. Hey everybody, we are back. Once again, as is tradition, we have ourselves a little bit of a party split. And so we just got done. Bryn once again found herself talking with Gargoth. Things got a little heated and some spells were cast. We're not exactly sure what has happened there with Bryn, but we are going back out to where the gatehouse is, and Reggie, Evangeline, and Lorem were discussing a plan to try to get themselves back into the Sea Tower of Baldurin. Go ahead, party, and tell me, what does this look like?
So first off, Evangeline is going to have to redo this. Are we going to speak to the Duke and try and do that? Are we just going?
I think for timing, we'll just be going.
Okay, yeah. So we will. Plan is, Evangeline, you're going to make yourself look like the Duke. Then we are going to walk up. Reggie, you're going to be the right hand man, close bodyguard, sort of thing. Do the whole announcing, presenting the Grand Duke, such, and we will just stand behind as representatives of the revolution. Then just try and make our way in. Are you comfortable, Evangeline? You can talk, but are you comfortable? Will you keep your cool, Reggie?
Oh,
I always keep my cool.
and yes, it'll be no problem at all for me. I mean, it's essentially imperceptible unless he just happened to have some reason to believe that I were a changeling and we had this, grand roots, but otherwise.
What's our reason for showing up early?
Beat
was
the
going-
crowd.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Beat the crowd is good. I also, we should also prepare a response for them only allowing the Duke in, and a threat of canceling the meeting or some sort of reason why the three of us are getting in here.
Well, I think that if they would only let me in, I would demand at least my bodyguard come with me. It would be preposterous for me to go up the Duke to go up without at least a bodyguard. So
And then Goldie and
think-
Apple can turn into flies and come on in.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, if we're going to do that, I could just make myself a fly on the wall, so to speak, and come with you.
Well, I would think the Duke would be coming with representatives of those who have grievances to air. So he would want to hear from his own citizens as well as Gargoth.
Yes.
would-
And do we have any of those coins?
Um,
Those coins.
we had the one from Bryn's father that we looked at, and I don't know who held on to it.
Who took it?
But
Bryn,
we could always
Bryn
just,
returned it to his father. Yeah.
we could always just beat someone up.
Atlas, dear, your instincts sometimes worry me, but maybe we could just ask nicely. Or I guess I'm just they're wearing them around their neck, so maybe just have something that kind of resembles that from a distance, you know.
All right. So the four of you approach the gatehouse. You get the looks from the sentries and the bearded devils. You see a glimmer of recognition. They are looking at Evangeline.
Oh, if they were in this situation before we would approach, I would go into Duke mode before we actually got close up.
Yeah, I assumed you did that. So they're looking at you as if you are
Right.
the Duke.
Okay, as a Duke, right? I was like, they might recognize me from 15 minutes ago. So just to clarify.
Announcing the Grand Duke Portier here to have concert with the revolutionary leader Gargoth. Also accompanying the Grand Duke is loyal servant and bodyguard and revolutionary member Reginald Itzami, as well as our two revolutionary representatives for the ensuing discussions.
So Reggie acts as herald. They seem like they acknowledge that. They're looking at Evangeline. They look at Lorem. They look at Aplos. They seem to be scrutinizing you all. Let's handle this, whether this is successful or not, with a group deception check.
All right.
Are we all rolling, or is someone rolling? Is for all of us?
Group check. So you all are doing an individual check, and we are averaging.
I have a +8 and I got a 13.
That's all right, because everyone else seems to
Yeah.
be picking up.
I'm
the
hoping
slack,
that
and
30
so-
carries some serious weight.
Yes.
Oh, 30!
Bards,
you.
man, bards.
So
you.
deceiving.
So you all hold up to their scrutiny, and the portcullis begins to raise, and you are waved through. When suddenly, from the gatehouse, you see the doors fling open, and your friend Bryn comes running out, screaming obscenities directed, I think, at Aplos. It sounds like. What does this look like, Bryn?
So she recognizes them all, right? So she's just calling them all out.
You know
Totally
enough.
recognize me.
You know enough about their deception. There's four of them. Evangeline maybe is dressed up a bit, but the others, you know that it's them.
Okay. And she's just waving her hands and saying, "These four are imposters. This one right here is one of our most hated enemies, the nobility, or claims to be, and he clings to what little land that his family has left in this city. Barely has enough total to call himself lord."
Miss Bryn? Well, no, I announced myself. I'm here acting as assistant to the Duke. What? What do you mean little land? I have a fine orchard, 4 trees.
It's 4 trees. It's barely qualifies as a garden, a hobby
how many-
garden.
But they're delicious apples, and I have my land, and I attend the appropriate galas, and I pay my taxes, and I see to the well-being of my servants. I
You
don't
and I
recall their
both know
names
that-
right now, but
You and I both know that the rest of the nobility of Baldur's Gate look down upon you with with just sneers and chide remarks. You barely can call yourself a noble, and you certainly do not stand with the common folk. That's for
And
sure.
right there, Bryn,
Hey.
the domination over your mind snaps, and you're back being yourself.
And
Oh no.
Aplos has gone from like noble high elf pale to like chalk white as he's like, what?
Is there like a like an actual like visible change in character?
in Aplos or in
No,
Bryn?
no, in Bryn.
Oh yeah, yeah. Her eyes get large, and then she just like clutches her forehead. It's like, oh, my head.
And
Would it make
you
sense
see that
I
there are
could
5 bearded devils that have kind of surrounded the group with their tridents raised. And they're looking at Bryn. They're looking at the party, and they say, "What the heck is going on here?"
Oh, well, this young woman has just come flying out of the keep and she's making unfounded, crazy accusations and talk. I have no idea what's going on, but she's clearly out of her mind.
Oh, what?
Well, your Grace, I think she is one of the revolutionaries, and I do know her. But perhaps this is the grievances that they wish to air.
Oh, well, perhaps then she should come back up and air grievances in the meeting that we're having. Yes.
If it
All right.
pleases the court of Gargoth, we wish to bring this rabble rouser along with us to air their grievances and be heard.
She does have much passion. Yes.
One of you can make persuasion or deception, either one.
Whoever chooses to do it, they have bardic inspiration, which is now a D10.
Hey, okay, I'll do it. You said it can be deception or what now? Performance? Persuasion?
Or persuasion.
Persuasion? Okay, I'll do persuasion.
All right.
Oh, you don't need that, but you have it.
I have him defeated.
All right. They seem to accept that, and they allow you to take Bryn to potentially see justice in the eyes of Gargoth, as you are waved into the main keep, the fortress, to go and see Gargoth. Once again, pop up that map, the receiving hall of Gargoth.
Like as we're on the way up, Miss Bryn, that was really mean.
What did I say?
You absolutely called Aplos out in all of his nobility.
That's very cool.
It was rather entertaining.
And not in a good way, like you should.
You called his 4 trees less than a garden.
There's a devil at work here that I have no doubt. Seeing your friendship firsthand, Bryn would not have said that if she was of sound mind.
No.
Maybe not
no
in this
one
context,
insults.
but that insult would probably have been wielded at one point.
Or at least thought.
Mm-hmm. Bryn is looking very uncomfortable right now.
Aplos, dear, I'm sure your orchard is lovely and productive, and I'm kind of, given the talk, we're just making things worse.
But I mean, you do need to realize it was there for several millennia prior to the arrival of all the common folk, and really, it was the common folk that we cut the orchard down to make room for.
Yes, and that was very generous of you, and yeah.
Gargoth, he casted some sort of domination spell on me. Be careful.
I can help with that, and I'm going to start pull out my little lyre and just start plucking away like it's some regal procession. And then as soon as we get into the presence of Gargoth, I will activate Counter Charm.
Okay. Well, before getting too far into your action economy and things like that, you enter into the hall where Gargoth is, and you see him at the far end, sitting upon his heaps of treasure. And as you walk in, he almost immediately sours Bryn. He has been pretty, I don't know, welcoming and has had a rapport with you, Bryn, in most of your interactions up until that last little bit. But as this group enters in, you can see him. He just like visibly looks irritated, and his gaze is drawn immediately to Reggie, and he says, "Ah, how dare you bring that thing back into my presence? Now I see what your true aim was, Bryn. All along, you wish to put me back in that prison? It will not be so. It will be you who leaves here in chains." And you can see him stand as gold kind of cascades down off the dais and rolls along the stonework of the pattern of the floor. He's getting ready to his wings expand, getting ready to engage you all as we roll initiative. And Evangeline, you will have the first attempt to take action as you enter.
All right. So are we on the map here? I don't see.
We're at the bottom.
Okay, yeah, we're at the very bottom. I just didn't have it.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, I see us now. All right. So
And I will say, actually, but maybe before we get rolling here, I just kind of dumped your tokens there. You can position yourself wherever you'd like behind this red line.
Okay.
That would be about as far as anybody would be able to walk before he would have reacted. Yeah, those are pillars that suspend. The ceiling here is maybe about 20 feet tall.
Okay. Do they give any cover or anything, or are they just like?
You would be able to like hide behind one for the purposes of your rogue ability.
All right. So that's where I would want to be, is in like duck behind range, and I just want to lean out and try to shoot him.
All right, go ahead. It sounds like with your bonus action, you want to attempt to do a stealth.
Yeah, I want to try to stealth and then shoot.
Okay, go ahead and do the stealth check.
All right.
All right, you'll have advantage on the attack.
All right.
The 27 will hit, and you'll have sneak attack as you draw first blood on Gargoth.
Those pesky Grand Dukes. All right.
All right. Though you can tell he's somewhat resistant to your weapon, you still deal damage to him. And with that, next up is Reggie.
All right. So I am going to use my channel divinity on my short sword that I got from Eplos for sacred weapon. So I'm going to do this, hopefully. I don't know if that did anything or not, but so I have that, and then I am going to move up a bit to kind of step into the line of immediate fire.
Sounds good.
And ready the shield, of course.
Remind me, sacred weapon. What does that do?
It gives me a +2, and also makes my weapon considered magical. Emits a bright light for 20 feet as well. I don't know if that matters at this point, but bright light, magical, +2 for 1 minute.
Okay, and sounds good. Next up is Lorem.
All right, I am going to step up right behind Aplos and make sure 10, 15, 20. Okay. And make sure with them within 30 feet of everybody. Why did that give me frightened? What? All right, that's broken. I'm going to use counter charm. So everybody who's within 30 feet of me has advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed.
Can I?
Until the.
Okay. Okay, the charm part. Just so you know, Reg, because you got a new character, you don't necessarily know all of his abilities, but he's got an aura that protects against frightened, but not necessarily charmed. I don't think, does it, Reggie?
It does not.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay, so this still could be useful.
That'll prevent the last dominate person he probably has.
Sounds good. All right. Next up, and then I'll pull that frightened piece off of you. Bryn, it is your turn.
Okay. I guess Bryn is gonna use a bonus action to cast Hex on Gargoth. Let's see here. Where's Hex? There it is. And then she's gonna come up over here and fire 2 Eldritch Blasts.
$25 hits. And do you want it to push?
I won't push him right now. He's far enough away as it is. Second one is big miss. And she's gonna hop behind Evangeline.
Sounds good. Becomes Gargoth's turn. And he looks extremely angry as he takes the desk and he just like throws it aside and it goes and hits the wall and he says, Bryn, we could have rebuilt Baldur's Gate together. Why did you have to meddle? And he casts a spell and hurls a fireball down the alley, which is going to hit everybody.
Everybody gets at least a +2 on their save from me. I don't know if Reggie's aura gets better than that.
+2 for me as well.
Yeah.
So we get so many dice.
Whoa.
21 is the number, so I don't think the +2 matters in this case. Evangeline already saved.
Evangeline already saved, but then we do get resistance on it because of me being an Oath of Ancients.
And I have that shield for if it's fire.
I also have resistance to fire because I have fiendish resilience.
Okay. I think with all of these things happening and a lot of them not being incorporated into Fantasy Grounds, I'm going to untarget. Everybody just be accountable for your own damage for the encounter.
Got it.
So the total is 35.
Okay.
All right, and if we save, do we take half, or is it none? How's that work?
So you should half and then half again.
Half and then half again. Okay.
Yeah. Who all has resistance, Apollos, because of you? Just you? Or...
Everybody within 10 feet of me has resistance to damage from spells. And I can't tell if we're on.
Let me.
I think we're off.
I know, because of the map, it's a little.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll say.
Yeah, we're within 10 feet. We were off grid.
Everyone except Reggie.
Okay.
But Reggie's already resistant because he's willing the shield. So
What was the
everyone's
damage
resistant.
number again?
35.
35. And are we rounding up or down?
Round down.
Okay, so that would be 17.
17.
Yeah, and then we half it again, so 8.
Only those who
Well, just you.
save half.
Well,
yeah.
I have resistance to fire too, so is that
I don't think resistance stacks.
Okay.
Doesn't stack, but in Evangeline's case, if you saved and then we're also resistant, then you do it twice. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And thank you for the big cheer from Albinosaurus Jones. Thanks for the cheer. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that is that. Aplos, you are up next.
Yes. My orchards are fine. And then he'll cast Bless on everyone. And then he'll take out his sword, which sends a shower of gold everywhere. And then he'll move up left, and it'll take me just a second to do all those things.
Sounds good.
Beep.
Next up is Evangeline.
All right. So I am going to just pop out just enough to take a shot at him again.
That will hit. No sneak attack on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do sneak attack because
Okay.
I'm going to use my help action at the end of the turn.
Okay.
Since
Okay. Cool.
I'm not doing much damage anyways, since I don't have anything magical. So, yeah, and then I am going to give help to Reggie and say, I believe in you, Reggie. No, we just met. And then, so you have help.
All it took was a social contract. Yay!
Reggie, you are up.
All right. So I am going to move up. And still just brandishing the shield and the sword. And I apologize. I'm going to cast Guardian of Faith. Not sure how to do that in Fantasy Grounds, so I apologize.
I don't know that there's a great way to do it, but I believe you are encircled by a number of spirits that will deal damage to it at the beginning of its turn, or
if it enters. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It occupies a space. So I'll. Can I throw a token down? Is that something I can do?
Let's see. What is it? Is it 30 feet radius or?
Yep. It is a 30 foot radius.
Oh, I see. It's a token. Yeah, so a token makes sense actually.
Yeah, it's
one second. I think
guardian.
I have something.
Cool.
Yeah, what is that? 10 feet. Space within 10 feet of the guardian.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I could put it 30 feet from me. Sorry.
Center it on a
Good
point.
image.
I think that's like a 10-foot radius essentially from whatever spot you put it in.
So if I put it like that, does that is that kosher? Cool. So creature takes 20 radiant damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Guardian vanishes after it has dealt a total of 60 HP.
Sounds good. So that'll hit him at the start of his turn. And next up we have Lorem.
Okay. I am going to see what the if he's close enough. Am I within 60 feet? Yeah. Yeah, I should be. I'm gonna attempt to cast Fairy Fire on Gargoth.
Oh, too bad that wasn't the the roll for the shield. You got him. He's got Fairy Fire on.
All right.
Nice.
And then for a bonus action, I am going to give Bryn Bardic Inspiration.
All right. Next up, it is Bryn's turn.
Okay, Bryn is going to fire off some more Eldritch Blasts at Gargoth. It's at advantage now.
Yep.
Okay.
First
Ooh.
one is a miss.
Why did it add a D4?
Bless.
You got
I think
bless.
you're blessed.
Oh, bless. Gotcha. There's a miss. All right, second one.
That one's a hit.
Awesome.
Turn the first one into, well, we know it's a miss now, but
Oh. Okay, and she's gonna back up, so we're not so close to each other.
I'm assuming no desire to push on that, since it's gonna.
No desire to push, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Gargoth will take its turn. Reggie, on your actions tab.
Yep.
There should be a thing for the spirit or Guardian of Faith, where you can pull the saving throw, the dex saving throw onto him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see if that does it.
Perfect. So he
Cool.
succeeds, but he'll take half, so you can drag the damage over onto him.
And Alex, I keep forgetting this, but since Emsum's my familiar, he does grant me resistance to magic. If he's within 10 feet of me. So
Okay.
I guess from now on, we would also be having him roll saving throws and stuff too, in the event that he dies. Right?
Oh yes. Is he immune to fire? I'm assuming he might have blanked
he's
out
immune
from
to
that
fire.
fireball.
He
He's
is
immune to fire? Okay, cool. So he's still around then.
All right.
Let's see. That didn't quite work for whatever reason. So he makes a dex saving throw. The creature takes 20 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. Okay, so he should take 10 on that. All right. So he's being attacked by this spiritual guardian that Reggie has put here. Doesn't like that. Spreads his wings and swoops and flies around you, Reggie. Gets to just on the other side of you, and is going to take 4 attacks against you. One
I'm sorry.
first,
4?
4. First with his bite. The 32 to hit.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Deals 22 points of damage. I'm not sure. Are you immune to poison damage? I forget all the things that paladins get at that high of a level.
Am I immune to poison damage? You know, I should know that. But I don't.
Think so.
I'm immune to disease.
Okay.
Does that count?
No, not on this particular one.
Okay.
So he's going to make you do a con saving throw, but you succeed.
Hell yeah, I do.
And on this one, it's no additional damage. He then swings at you with his claw.
Okay.
I'm not sure why he got advantage on that. Because I think he should be at disadvantage because you have a permanent protection from good and evil.
Correct.
So I'll do that again. I'll just roll it. But a 22, I think, still hits.
Sure does.
Oof.
Dealing 15 points of damage. Oh, before we go any further, no, Spirit Guardian is not, or Guardian of Faith is not concentration, I don't think.
Correct.
Swings at the other side of you with his mace. 23 to hit.
Sure.
And you are resistant to fire damage. I'm just going to roll this in the
Correct.
chat and we'll figure out what the total would be.
Okay.
So you take 15 points of damage from the mace and 11 points of fire damage.
So 26.
Yes.
So 80. All right.
And then he swings at you with his tail.
Cool.
25 to hit,
Mm-hmm.
27 points of damage.
Even better. All right. It feels good.
Aplos, it is your turn.
Okay, so like Aplos is getting ready to charge in, and then he looks like down to the south just in time to see like a little tail disappear out the doorway and see the door shut as Stevia makes his way away. And then he'll rush forward.
Did you say Stevia?
Yes, that's my mount's name.
Excellent.
So he'll rush forward and swing at Gargath with the big weapon. And he'll get 2 swings off. Swing number 1
That's a hit.
is a hit. We will roll damage.
He is a fiend.
He is a fiend. Does that do something more with the Holy Avenger?
You should get an extra 1d8 of damage, radiant damage on that.
Okay. I'm gonna drop. So I am going to smite him. So on top of everything else, that'll then be 4 more d8s for first level smite plus the extra damage. So that was a total of that much damage on the first attack. Second attack will hit. We'll drop 1 more first level smite. We will do first damage and then 4d8s of smite. And then, because it seems very, very dangerous to be here, we're gonna Misty Step over here as a bonus action.
Sounds good.
3, 4, 5. Okay, yep. And that will be that.
Evangeline, it is your turn.
All right. Well, I am going to just take another shot at him. But this time, thanks to my poor new friend getting beat up, I'll have hopefully sneak attack there. So
Nice.
That's a hit. You got sneak attack.
yes.
All right. Arrow goes shooting out. Pierces the backside of Gargoth. He lets out a howl, but is still very much in the fight. Anything else, Evangeline?
Yeah, well, I was thinking I can't since no one needs help since he's lit up, and I have just my crossbow. But the crossbow thing, it's like you can't do 2 shots because you have to load. Is that like the so? Um, so yeah, I think all I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna move just a little bit further back just to kind of get away, and that's it. All right.
Sounds good. Reggie, you're feeling the hurt, I'm sure. What do you got?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, that's for sure. I am going to just to confirm the if I were to do that whole incantation, the outcast to suck him into the shield, that's an action, right?
It's an action to use it. Yep.
Okay. All right. I would, gosh, and if I step away, if I disengage, that's an action as well.
Disengage is an action. If you step away without taking disengage, he could attack you once.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm feeling bolstered by everything I'm seeing these fine adventurers take to Gargath. So I'm going to hold up the shield and shout out the celestial word for outcast.
Say the word, and I have to reference what is the DC currently.
10? Or wait, no, we want
You want higher?
we want higher.
Yeah. Let's see.
76.
It's a DC 23.
Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty high.
Pretty
Roll
high.
another 12.
You've
Roll
dealt
another 12.
You've dealt a decent amount of damage. Let us see what happens. He's got advantage on the roll.
Wait, can I throw in one thing? Out of curiosity, when you hold up the shield and you're shouting at it, it's like, hey, hey.
No.
All right, no. Okay.
Absolutely not.
So I just,
Reggie's too serious
If
for that.
anything, I am shouting out bombs over Baghdad.
All right.
I am. Yeah.
Oh my god. You could have just done this at full health and you...
Ooh. That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. Woo!
Sucking him
You
up
see
into the
him.
shield.
You see him. He's feeling good because he's beating down Reggie, the Orca Slayer, and suddenly you hold up that shield and he didn't know that you knew that word, and you can see his eyes get real big like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man as his whole essence gets sucked into the shield and it's red hot and you almost drop it because of how it's glowing ember red, as you have absorbed him. The shield.
I am inevitable. Ah.
I just kind of stare from across the hall like, that's it? It's done?
I thought there was a minute or something.
There's a
It
minute.
drops on the ground. It starts rocking back and forth. Boop, boop. Boop, boop.
We're all staring at it like,
Boop.
I sit on it and cross my legs and just
Stars. Haha.
Woo!
Gotcha.
Gargoth has been added to your Pokédex.
Oh, it's an elite one.
he doesn't have perfect IVs. Throw him out.
Shiny though.
Shiny. Wow. The four of you are quite impressive. You really took it to Gargoth. Way more than I thought you could.
You're bleeding quite a bit. Do
Yeah.
you want me to just touch? I could just.
If you want to, I'd
just-
take a touch. Yep.
He'll throw 40 points at you.
Awesome. I'll hit my own shoulder and I'll throw another 40 on me as well. Yeah, I feel a lot better now. I appreciate that, Lord Aplos. I
Oh
know that this
yes.
has been a very trying morning and evening for
Oh,
all of you.
I just I,
Yeah.
I being of the nobility, we are prone to speechifying, but I do believe there's at least 30 to 40 devils still just over there. We
But
might want to.
how you think about how much more effective we'll all be when we all feel so good about what we've just accomplished, walking through that door in 5 minutes after you and I, make sure that everybody feels emboldened and empowered to take control of their own life and for that matter, their own universe. I mean, think about all the different connections we have, and of course, give it up to Torm. I mean, without Torm, none of this is possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So we have the gold now, and is there a way for us to contact Tiamat?
Yes, give me a moment. Let me just get Tiamat on the phone. Um, and I will cast sending to the do I send it to
Oh
uh
no.
who do I send it to? What was his name?
our turtle
Are
friend.
they gonna call?
No, not the turtle
Well,
friend. No, the guy that Tiamat possessed.
I
Archon?
can step in here
Archon.
and do a little curtain call on the session because there's going to be a lot of hand waving of the things that come next.
So the session definitely ends with, oh wait, who do I call again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credits.
So there are a number of things that will transpire. We'll be jumping ahead as we pick up next week, but the shield that contains Gargoth is now in possession of the party, and Gargoth is definitely something that needs to be dealt with, but not necessarily something that the party of Evangeline, Lorem, Aplos, and Bryn have time to deal with. But Reggie being who he is, kind of at this point a legendary figure in Baldur's Gate of his own, will declare to take that shield to deal with Gargoth in a way that maybe is more permanent than what has been done with him in the past.
I want to make sure that before he leaves, because it might affect the events of the future, that he's aware that every single person who took one of those coins has bound their soul to Gargoth, and if Gargoth is destroyed,
and so this is a piece of that, is that he is going to be the one to bear this shield and deal with it. Having in his past, he has a friend who is out there exiled, dealing with the Ring of Winter, and so Reggie now finds himself in possession of an item that needs to be dealt with. And so Reggie will go off with the shield and deal with that, while the four of you, Bryn has already made contact with Nine Fingers Keen, who will definitely take the reins of this revolution and probably steer it in ways that benefit her, but in ways that do bring about a lasting peace and calms at least this bout of unrest in Baldur's Gate. Till 10 years from now, it all comes back full circle once again, as it tends to. None of these things ever get fully resolved. You all will have done right in the eyes of Rathmodar, who will he's been sending messages across the realms to his allies and those that are allies of Tiamat and those of the Cult of the Dragon, and they will, in due time, begin to route this treasure to their particular aims. Not things that you all will have time to deal with just now, for you are returning back, and he will be able to send you back via teleportation back to Avernus to receive your reward from Tiamat, who will hold up her end of the bargain. You are useful in her eyes, and she will lay upon you her as she does, as much as she does, her congratulations for a job well done, and hold up her end of the bargain and reveal to you the location of the Sword of Zariel, and that is where we will pick up the next leg of this adventure. So thank you all for our side quest, I guess, back to Baldur's Gate. I hope it was fun. Just something a little bit different, hopefully somewhat tailored to our story that we were telling. So thank you, players. Thanks, Joe, for coming back. 3
Yeah.
years of 20 sides to every story. We had to bring back another one of our original characters. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we have enough time at some point. We'll bring another guest player on. I don't know.
That'd be
But
rad. Super fun. Thanks for letting me play with you all.
I'm playing with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
And if you want to know what happens to the treasure, tune in for the Tyranny of Dragons campaign starting after Avernus, and you'll get to see exactly where it's going.
an easy lob up for the next thing
Whip.
that'll be replacing this time slot. I think at some point. Starting like September-ish, I think.
Ish.
Likely.
There's an ish.
Ish. So, thanks everybody. Let's see. Do we have any friends that are still streaming? Because we could go and drop some love by. I hate that in the OBS app that doesn't tell you who's currently streaming off your list. It looks like Praetor's Rejects is still streaming, so we'll show them some love with a raid. Thanks everyone. We're signing off. We will see you all soon.
Bye.
Moving so fast he disappears.
Digital jazz hands. Yeah.